Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Pet Pro Power Hour. Today we have Tiara, who's the owner of Lavender Leashes Dog Training. I said it right, correct?
That's
Yes,
right.
Lavender Leashes.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. And today, we're just going to talk about, just the journey that Tiara has gone through. So, Pet Pro Power Hour, of course, is one of our segments where we just like talking about the journey in entrepreneurship, what we've learned, how can we teach each other, inspire others to be successful in their journey in entrepreneurship and in the pet industry. So, without further ado, Tiara, how are you? Welcome, and tell us about yourself.
Hi. Hey, Wayne. Thanks for having me on. Um, so I guess a little bit about myself. I am a registered veterinary technician of this will be 16 years now. I
Mm.
graduated from the Fort Valley State University back in 2009
That's right.
and go Wildcats. And then became a registered veterinary technician the same year. So um, my journey really started then as far as like I always knew I wanted to work with animals. Growing up, I wasn't allowed to have pets. So when I think I hit high school is when we had like our first pet home, our first family pet. So
I gotcha.
from there, it just kind of developed. And when I became a technician, I ended up meeting my former business partner,
Mhm.
Crystal. She was actually a client at one of the hospitals, and she has just such this aura about her. She just knew so much about pets just from being just from a client perspective and like her work ethic, her standards, everything. So she actually came on as a VA, and we just became close, fast friends ever since then. And
Nice.
about, I think, 2 or 3 years later, we started Georgia Pet Nanny together.
Okay.
So, yeah, and they just celebrated 10 years this year. So I was so excited for them. But from there, I kind of realized that dog training had more of my heart. Like, I love talking about behavior. I love studying behavior on dogs, like why they do the things that they do, and just more
Mhm.
so being able to get their owners to understand why they do the things that they do so they can build a better relationship.
Absolutely. So, we'll get into, for sure, we'll get into the animal human bond, as it is something that a lot of people should definitely talk about for sure. But in the sense of just starting out, excuse me. So, pets was something that you always wanted to do and work with.
Mhm.
What led you to really saying, okay, this is something that I'm going to like really just stick to? Because we all know it can be a little difficult and dicey in the beginning, because you don't realize all that you have to do in the pet industry, or at least like working with a vet or as a vet tech. So just something that really just stuck, that made you say, I'm going to stay in the pet world or pet industry.
Um,
Especially like because not having pets growing up,
mhm.
so it's like that definitely is a factor too.
Yeah, and so I didn't have it, but everyone else had pets around me. So I was still like surrounded by animals in some way or fashion. So that just made me want one even more. And so I guess as I continue to work in the field, of course, I've had my days where, yes, I wanted to quit and go do something else, but nothing captured my interest. Nothing has my heart like with working with animals. So even if I was to leave, the medicine world or veterinary med, I probably would still find myself doing something in the capacity of working with animals. So like I said, now I'm dog training.
Yeah,
Who knows from there? I might go do something else, but something will still be related to animals, I feel like forever.
no, understandably, and I think that that's important too to know your options. Because were you at one point just saying like, going to school to be a veterinarian, or did you know like I'm just gonna stick to being a vet tech?
No, so I originally went to school to become a veterinarian. That's why I chose Fort Valley because I was going to do my undergrad and then end up either going to Tuskegee or UGA. So those were going to be post undergrad. But I remember it was freshman year. It was like orientation. We had someone come, I think it was from UGA, talking about the vet program. And the only thing I can remember from that whole entire orientation was how much vets went into debt and how much they made. And I was like, no, no, ma'am, no,
Yeah,
ma'am, no, ma'am,
gotcha.
no, ma'am. We're gonna have to find another route. So then I found out that you can become a registered veterinary technician. And I was like, no, that's perfect. That way I can still support the doctors. But I love the educational side that we take on when it comes to speaking with clients. I mean, I like to get comfortable, grab up my chair, like, all right, let's talk about it. What's going on? And to be able to build that trust with the clients. I get a lot of just compliments on, we just love the fact that you sit and you talk with us and
Yeah.
listen to us and able to find a solution that is something that we can actually, maintain and doesn't feel like it's just a generic cookie cutter, one size fits all type of thing.
No, absolutely. And I love that you do have a vet tech background. I think that that is something that is extremely important when it comes down to pet parents looking for pet care. Those that have like some type of background in just the animal industry as a whole, because it's like, okay, anybody can wake up one day and just say, hey, I'm gonna dog train, or I'm gonna be a groomer, I'm gonna be a pet sitter or a dog walker, because it's easy to get into the field, but it's a lot of work to maintain it. So having that background saying, I do have my license as a vet tech, I have my bachelor's in veterinary technology, I went to school for this and things like that, and I have all of this experience. It definitely sets you apart from other pet professionals, in a sense. So I love it, because me having my background as well, and then going to the dog groomer side of it, I wanted to get out of corporate and still work in the pet industry, like you said, right? So what was something that led you to just saying dog training? Was it outside of just, coming outside of being a vet tech?
So, probably back in, I think it was like 2017, 2018, I came across a conference out in Vegas, which I don't know something about Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas just changes everything for me
It does.
lately. So,
It does change lives.
so I went to Vegas for a conference. It was a vet tech conference out there, and one of the topics was behavior. So I was like, okay, let me, sit through this. It was very interesting. And I was just like, that's it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to learn as much as I can about dog behavior, to the point where not quite made a complete like, green light or like have like the green light to do it just yet, but I think I might go back to get my specialty in behavior. So that's how much I just love, trying to understand like why dogs do what they do.
No, for sure. And I think that that's admirable for sure, because you have to you have to constantly be a student to the game. You have to constantly learn and be a student, be a sponge, find a mentor, put yourself in rooms and around people who can teach you, to do the things that you need to do. Because I mean, similar story. Growing up, all I knew was being a veterinarian because that's all you saw. I applied to UGA, I applied to Tuskegee. I actually got accepted to Tuskegee, and I'm like, well, my mom convinced me. She said, just stay in state. It's an hour away. And I was like, okay. So I went to Fort Valley as well. And it was just like, okay, I need to, I love the path of being a veterinarian, but I love being a vet tech more, and I was, we're able to talk to the clients more, get to know them, build that relationship and things like that, as opposed to just coming in, diagnosing, prescribing surgery, and going to the next pet. So I do love what we do as vet techs. And now we're able to spread that information and that experience to what we do outside of the medical side. So, and then going to dog training, I feel like that is an extremely is a great market to be in, because you're able to. It's more than just doing a service. Like you're actually impacting the lives of the pet parents and the pets, way more than just making them look nice or taking them for a walk. Like you're teaching them things that they can take with them for the rest of their lives. Like, and when it comes down to behavior, is it something that you always had an interest in? And it was like, I know you said you went to the conference and they taught you, but was it something that you were like, I always knew from the get-go, like, hey, this was something that I'm going to just stay in and I'm going to really just like get down into it because I definitely support, just getting more education on it and building up off of that.
I think even from being as a young kid, like I've always been very curious on why just things like why people do the things that they do, what drives just individuals, creatures, whatever, to do the things that they do.
Mhm.
Um, I can remember, I think I was about like 5 years old. My babysitter had a German Shepherd named Beanie. And
Mhm.
I was playing with her, and I remember I had pulled on her ear just mistakenly as a kid, just pulling and
Mhm.
everything. And then she turns around and she bites me, and
Mhm.
she bites me on my face. And so, of course, I cried, as a kid or whatever, but I was never afraid of her, even
Gotcha.
after that, or any other dog. Because in my mind as a child, I was like, okay, so I should not pull on a dog's ear. That
Don't
hurts.
do that. Okay.
Don't do that. But, most other people, they get a dog bite or, they're attacked. Like their first thing is to have fear. And
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, okay, I know why this happened, and I make sure I never do it again. I'll be gentle. So I
Mhm.
think even then, as a child, like something within me couldn't find it within my heart to be mad at the dog. Like I just wanted to know what happened and what I could do to like make sure it doesn't happen again, and just kind of see it from their point of view.
No, for sure. And I feel like that's a testament to your consistency and hard work because everything that you've done have led you up into owning your own business and really doing everything that you can to train and learn the psychology and behavioral of pets and everything like that. So when it comes down to stepping away, because you said, you were in Georgia Pet Nanny and you were part of growing the organization and co-founding and everything there. So now it's like I'm ready to take the leap on my own and get into training 100%. Like, talk to me about that.
That was a very scary decision. It was a really hard and scary decision because, like I said, for 10 years, it was me and Crystal building it. And I always had like that support system to just kind of bounce out ideas with or be able to like share the load of creating and building and maintaining a business. And now that it's on me, I'm like, oh God, I need
Work.
somebody. I need help.
Yeah.
Somebody help me. Um, but it was just one of those type of decisions that I was like, okay, I've been doing this for 10 years. And I realized that staying with the company, it probably would have taken me even longer to like really focus solely on training itself. So it's just like, you know
Mhm.
what? I might as well just take the leap and just, trust in the process, trust in my skills, trust in what I'm learning. And over time, I've been able to build a network of people at Petlanta. That's also gotten me in, exactly. It's
Shameless
gotten me in
plug.
contact with great people as well, and especially on the training side. So I now have people where it comes to if I do have questions or I got this case, I'm trying to work with what are your thoughts or ideas? Like I don't have to feel like I'm alone in it.
I got you. Now, and then also, I mean, I guess just let me know because you're not new to entrepreneurship. You know, you're not new to it because you have built a successful business that has gone on to 10 years at this point, right? Before you're breaking off and you're creating your timeline and everything for you. Now, somebody who is still working corporate or working a job or, they're trying to figure out how to make that leap or what mentality do you have in order for you to say, all right, this is enough and now I want to transition into something for me.
I will definitely say that there's going to come a time where you're going to have to make that decision. I know with me, when I was doing pet sitting, I was able to kind of slowly make the transition where I was, doing appointments before work. I was doing appointments on my lunch break. I was doing appointments after work.
Excellent.
So my schedule was pretty hectic. Like I was working like two jobs along with pet sitting. And at the time I had my family, so my family was able to check in on my dog if I was going to work have a longer day. Um, but there had to come a point where there's only but 24 hours in a day and there's only but
Sure.
so much that you can do. So there's going to have to come a time where you're going to have to make a decision whether, okay, do I stay with this security of a job or do I branch out and, really, put my all into this if I truly believe? Now, I
Mhm.
just don't believe in just jumping for it. I mean, you do want to set up a plan if you have someone that you can look over, your finances and making sure that you are making the best decision for you financially. But
Mhm.
you're going to have to make that leap. And you're never going to be fully ready for it. No matter how much you try to prepare, there's always going to be something that you may not have thought of that's probably going to pop up, but you're going to have to take that leap. And when you take that leap, I mean, you take it. Like there is no hesitation. Don't go to the edge and then try to pull back. Like you go for it. And
Yeah.
you just never know where you're going to land.
Yeah, because you can't jump in a pool and then mid jump be like, all right, nah,
And
I
turn around,
can't
try to go
do
back.
it. I can't do it. No. No, that is facts. I mean, and same, not being new to entrepreneurship, but you learn you learn what you're made of. You learn what you accept, what you don't accept, and things like that. So in the sense of now, sort of starting over, essentially, what are some things that you've learned, so far that is like, okay, I'm going to take the experience of what I've learned in the past, and now I'm going to bring it over to, what I'm doing here with Lavender Leashes.
Take breaks. Take breaks. I know as entrepreneurs, we're working 25/8,
Yeah.
but take the break, please.
Hmm.
I don't know how many times my body has just completely shut off on me because I've just pushed myself to exhaustion. So when you put it on a schedule, just like how you treat your appointments, just how you treat your clients, okay, your client wants you do a session on August 12th at 5 p.m., you need to put break for me
Hmm.
August 16th from, 8 p.m. to like the next day or however you want to set up. You need to put yourself on the schedule. You need to
Hmm.
treat yourself just as important as you do with your clients, if not even more, because your business cannot thrive if you're not at 100%.
For sure.
So take the breaks, put it on your schedule, and honor that.
What are some ways that you take a break and you're able to create those hobbies and just that better mentality for yourself?
I've actually, through trial and error, figured out what is a good amount of work that I can do before then I need a break. So right now I try to take a vacation like at least every 6 to 8 weeks. And then, like I said, during the week, Thursdays are like my off days. So that is just for me. And I have like my days set up for training. I still am in the clinic, but I have 2 days at the clinic. And that seems to be working for me. If at any point I feel like it's too much or it's just taking me away from what I want to do, then I readjust.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Now, also just backtracking a little bit as well. When we get into entrepreneurship, we realize that we have to be our own cheerleaders. We have to really talk ourselves up positively, maintain a great mentality and just do everything that we can. But it does help having that support system. Did you have a really good support system like just throughout your transition
Mhm.
as well? Like just
Oh
going
yeah.
from corporate to entrepreneurship?
Yes. So, my family is a big, big supporter, advocator. Anything that I have going on, they are, sharing it. They're talking about it. They're a great source that when I need to vent, I go to them. I have a great group of friends, but same thing. Also part of a great networking group yet again.
Yes.
So I have
Yes.
support from all different facets. Even with some of my clients, like I've been working with them for and their pets for so long that I've almost kind of been integrated into their family. I have one client, her family's like, "Oh yeah, no, you're our adopted daughter. So
Mhm.
whenever you want to come over for dinner, just let me know." So,
I love it.
I have so many different areas that I can get support depending on what I need at that time. And I also try to make sure that, I make time for them as well because
Yeah.
it's also a give and take situation. Like I don't want them to also think they have to pour into me. I want to make sure that I'm in the healthiest mindset so that way I can pour back into those that have been able to support me throughout this time.
No, absolutely. And I feel like that is such it makes and breaks the entrepreneur. When we feel like we have a really true support team and support system, because it does get difficult. It gets very, very hard and trying, and you're constantly questioning your sanity, and you're trying to maintain balance financially, emotionally, physically. And it's just like, all right, now. I've learned, what I can learn, and I've done what I can do, but now what's next? Like what else can I do? How important is that when it comes down to sharing your dreams and talking to people about it and things like that?
I would just say just be very guarded on how you express your dreams to other people. Um, you never want to feel ashamed of them. But if you're not strong enough to withstand, if you're going to talk about your dreams, but you're looking for support, make sure you're talking to the right people.
For sure.
If you are in a situation where you're just sharing it because you want to make sure it is known to the whole entire world that this is what you want to do, just make sure that you're also strong enough to take that criticism. Sometimes people, even our closest, family, they may support us, but they're trying to support us in a way that they deem as protecting us by telling us what could go wrong, what should go wrong, which if you're not prepared for this, do you really think you should be doing that? Do you really think you should be leaving that good job in order to, go on this, hobby or, so you just have to really be strong-minded to know that if this is what was called for you to do, not
Mhm.
everybody is going to see it. Not everybody's going to hear that call. That call is made specifically for you. So just make sure you're strong enough to withstand those that just don't see it yet.
No, 1000%. I think having a mental fortitude is is important because everybody doesn't see your vision. Like they don't see your vision, they don't understand, like you said, you know, what we're working towards, and all you can do is try to explain it to the best of your abilities. But when you have something inside of you that is just like, no, do this, do this, do this, you're like, all right, let me just go ahead and do it and get it done. And then just show people, now we're showing that this is something that, was important to us. So all you could do is just be like, hey, I just need your support. Just tell me I could do it. That's it. Just tell me I can do it. Please, that's all I need to hear from you. You can do it. That's it, right? No, I think that that is extremely important, especially being around the right people as you grow. Now something that because you are what 11, 12 years now in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, 11.
11
Yeah.
years into entrepreneurship, what are some of the things that you're still facing, a decade, still past the decade into entrepreneurship?
Um, oh, that is a good one. I think I'm still really hard on myself. Even after 11 years, like I would think that I would be a lot more comfortable with being an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, but it still scares me.
Yeah.
The growth still scares me. Um, and I don't ever want to self-sabotage what I'm trying to do. And it's just a day by day thing. I have a list of affirmations I have right next to my work desk that whenever I feel stressed out or just like I
Mhm.
have those doubts, then I read that. I made a little booklet that I can carry with me. So if I am having those moments, I can pull it out and read it and just remind myself, okay, yes, this is hard. Yes, it's
Mhm.
maybe scary, but you got this. You've
Yeah.
overcome so much before. Why can't you overcome this? So, yeah, I think I'm still hard on myself. I still try to do perfection, which,
Mhm.
may slow me down with my posts. I'm trying to get better about doing my posting, being on social
Just
media.
post it.
Yeah, but now I'm just like, okay, I'm going to make it good enough so that way I could just post it and just, make any adjustments. If I notice anything, my sister's a really great support system that I go to when I'm about to publish something. I can go to her and she'll tell me the honest truth of like, I don't like how that looks, or I think she tried this way, and she's usually 100% right.
No, and so we got to bring her on as your social media consultant.
I
No,
think so. She's been like, okay, you need to start paying me for me to come look at all this stuff. I'm like, you're me being your sister is payment enough. Come on now.
it's payment enough. I got it. If you need anything, I got you, but I just need
Exactly.
your
You got a
help. I
babysitter. I
need you
got the
to believe
kids.
in me.
Like, that's what I'm here for. As
I
auntie, that's what
need
I'm
you.
here for.
Help me until I can help you. Because trust me, it's going to come right back. And then that's important too, because you get a lot of people who start out in entrepreneurship and they work, 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 and then now you're getting to a place where you need the help and you need people to be on your team and you need people to try to believe in your vision and things like that, right? But they don't see things the way that you see things, right? And that can be difficult on us because I've gotten a lot of people who are like, well, I wanted to start a grooming business or I wanted to start dog walking or pet sitting or pooper scooping or anything like that. But people who don't see the vision in it, of course, they're so quick to give their judgment on it.
Mhm.
you know so what are some ways that you kind of block out the noise when it comes down to people who are they may not see the vision or they may not understand it right then and there, but it's like something that again that's inside of you that's like, hey, I need to do this, just so that one, it's better. I don't say that I gave up on it, because I never want to, start something and then be like, oh, I gave up because somebody said this or hurt my feelings or anything like that. So it's like, how do you get past, that little voice in your head?
I think just not giving it that power
Mhm.
to have that much control over your life. So even with anyone else's like criticism or opinion about, what I'm doing, I'm definitely open because they might be able to see a perspective that I may not see. But for someone to tell me that, oh, that's not going to work, I'm like, okay, well, now I got to show you. Now you definitely have fueled me. So now I have to show you that I can do it. So,
Absolutely.
you just have to, like I said, like I said, going back to before, you just have to be very careful about who you share your vision with. If you're if you're in that state where you're looking more for support than actual just like sharing the information. Like I said, just know what you need at that point. If you are looking for that someone that's going to give you that pep talk, go to that person. If you're
Mhm.
looking to, okay, now I'm ready to network, now I'm ready to branch out and have people start to kind of come on and believe in that dream, then do that. But just make sure you're in a secure, strong mental state to be able to take that rejection or take those rejections. You just may get 100 slam doors before you get one that finally opens. But
For
that
sure.
only happens if you are mentally tough and prepared to keep going until that door finally opens.
Is that kind of is not kind of, excuse me, is that what led you to just say, I'm just going to take on entrepreneurship 100%? because I mean it's and the only reason why I ask is like, you have the experience of working in a hospital. You have also helped build a really successful business. And then now it's like, okay, what's next? What do I do? How do I do this? And now your journey is back relying back on you, right? So a lot of people may, and then when it comes down to training, you have to really get people to see the value in that, So talk to, let's say, like you're talking to somebody who wants to basically, all right, let's say you're talking to your younger self that's like really from what you know now to, all right, I'm about to take this leap and I'm scared and I'm just like, I don't know what's next and I don't know what to do. Like, what are some of the things that you would say to somebody that's just saying, I want to, but what if?
And there's always going to be that what if. I would give that person a hug first. I'm like, it's okay. It is okay. But yeah, there's always going to be what ifs. Even when you do reach to your definition of success, there's always going to be a what if because success is always something that you're going to continue to strive for. So whatever goal that you meet, there's always going to be that other goal that you're going to try to, push the goalposts further and further and further and further. Um, so if I was to kind of talk back to my younger self before making that transition to full-time entrepreneurship, I will let her know that it's going to be, there's going to be rough days. There's actually going to be a
Mhm.
lot of rough days. You will question your sanity.
Uh-huh.
But I had, so there was a situation before I made the decision to go full-time. Where I was just realizing that, and this was something I had learned from Georgia Pet Nanny, especially from Crystal, like we had built a company with such a high standard because of the standards that we had for our own pets and their care. Those that knew us knew that our dogs, I mean, were bougie. Our dogs are very bougie dogs. So,
Uh-huh.
but we had such a high standard on the care for our dogs that it translated to what we did for our clients' dogs as well.
Sure.
So after, doing that and then realizing like the standards that were around me were no longer in alignment for what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
Quality meant so much more to me than quantity. And now, it's even to this day, still means more to me. Um, I'm not going to just take on just because I want the numbers. I'm taking on because I genuinely feel like I can help you. I can provide a service, I can educate you in a way that you're going to see the value of it. And
Absolutely.
when I realized that what was going on around me was no longer in alignment, as much as I like still love medicine, I wanted to be able to, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that whatever I build, it's always going to be centered around the quality and that my clients know and they're getting what they pay for, if not more than that.
Absolutely. And then with that, because you're building such a company that thrives off of this trust and loyalty and quality, um, how do you get into just increasing that value when it comes down to explaining, that this is something that you need, this is something that your pup needs. Um, because we do want to get into the human animal bond when it comes down to, like, for example, with grooming, if people can stop looking at the surface of it, because yes, we can make dogs look nice, we can make them smell good, we can make them shiny, make their, do everything that, we're supposed to be doing. But now we get into the educational factor of, what are we feeding your pets and how to brush and comb properly, what products that are, that we are going to use for your pet and their hair texture to help strengthen the hair follicles, to nourish their skin, to changing the behavioral, issues or behavior issues that dogs may have because they feel good, they smell better, like they, and then that also goes into their home life to where the pet parents, you see a dog that is running around, that's happy, looks good, that makes you feel good. Like it brightens up your day. It releases endorphins and dopamine and everything, and makes you feel, a certain way. And now you're going on more walks and you're getting more exercise and now you're happier and you don't even realize that all of that stems from doing what's right for your dogs, right? So it's something that how do you explain the value of stepping past just, hey, I'm just teaching a dog sit, stay, lay down, come type of thing,
Mhm.
when it comes down to the pet parents.
Yeah, so with most cases, like I'm like I can tell to pet parents, I'm like I can teach your dog to do whatever it needs to do, but that's not my job. My job is to be able to help you be able to connect and work with your dog because you're going to be the ones working with the dog for the rest of their lives, not me.
Mhm.
Um, but I think anyone that does come to me and does talk to me, I usually get the compliment of I could just really tell that you're passionate about that. When I when I speak about it with clients, like that comes across. And like so the right clients are going to feel it. And the
Mhm.
ones that don't, if I'm not for them, then hey, I'm like, look, I will help you find, who you are supposed to be working with.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I just speak what I'm passionate about and it comes out and it comes across for the right people.
No, 100%. And I think and that's important too, because a lot of people, when they get into it, they aren't willing to, go above and beyond and look past the surface level of things and whatnot. Like I love that you have tapped into the psychology of it. You're like, well, you're not afraid to ask why. Why does this work this way? Why does this work that way? And a lot of people, they may not take that likely, because when you ask why do a lot of stuff, people feel like, you're pushing the buttons or pushing the envelope on certain things. And I'm like, no, I just want to genuinely get an understanding so that I can adjust teaching. I can communicate better. I can, really formulate a lesson plan for you and things like that. And I think that just speaks to a testament of your level of dedication to the craft, you know. And so great kudos. Kudos for
I
sure.
think years as a technician had prepared me for this because
Yeah.
when I first started off, I was so shy. I was just like so terrified of talking to people. So I definitely contribute a lot of me being able to like relate to clients due to veterinary medicine.
No, and do you recommend that pet professionals spend some time in the hospital, or really just like building up their relationships with other vet techs and getting that knowledge and things like that too?
Absolutely. Like I feel like if you do happen to have someone that works in the veterinary field, like you're already a step ahead because you have a great resource where you can be able to talk about like, you still have to there's a fine line, make sure you're not crossing over things and diagnosing pets and things like
Absolutely.
that. But you have that support system and that knowledge. And if they don't know it, they definitely know the resources that you need to go to be able to find the answers. Um, because like I said, you can be a trainer, you can be a groomer, you can be a sitter, but when you have knowledge of pets behind you, that is like that makes you stand out greater than any other people in that group. Like that's how you shine because
Yeah.
that really shows that you are about the craft. You are about learning everything about what you're trying to do. Not just train, not just groom, but the dog itself. Like what am I'm not only just training the dog, but I'm also trying to have this dog have a better mindset, be able to be a more functioning part of the family and not just a dog that's just like could do a bunch of sits down stays or whatever because I get that all the time. My dog could do sit down stay in the house, but as soon as they come outside they're a menace to society. So we need to be working on the mindset of your dog versus just always just focusing on the obedience.
Understand that. And how important it would you say is to find a mentor when it comes down to your craft?
Oh,
You know,
it's necessary.
yeah.
Oh, it's necessary. There's no way that you're able to do this on your own. Um, no amount, I mean, the books are great, conferences are great, but you just kind of still need that one-on-one, that person that you can go to and talk about cases or be able to shadow or because that's really going to help you build the craft, the skill. So
Mm.
if you are, especially as an entrepreneur, no matter what field you are that you're in, you definitely need someone to be able to go to and talk to.
Absolutely. Now, shameless plug. I mean, what, resources would you have when it comes down to, joining a networking group or, just other pet professionals who think like this? We're getting out of this competition type of mindset, and getting more into community. Like, how important is that?
Oh, it is so important, Wayne. Like, I think that if it wasn't for Petlanta, I mean, this would be even way harder than what it is now. And actually, if it wasn't for Petlanta, I would not have been in connection with Darius from PK9 because now I'm doing classes out of his facility. So if it wasn't for you guys, I don't know where I would be doing classes right now or group. I mean, I'm pretty, would have figured out something, but
We figured it
yeah,
out.
it happened the way that it happened, and I'm so grateful for Petlanta for that.
No, thank you. You have definitely been such an important part of our team, and of the organization from day one. So I truly appreciate everything that you've put into it. For those that, you know, we're building, still building the network and still building our connections and resources and things like that. We definitely want to figure out how to show up for everybody too, right? Because it's important, and it's like we go through this journey trying to figure out what's the next move, or how to do something correctly, or did I do this correctly, or what am I forgetting? So it's extremely important to have those that you can talk to when it comes down to just how to run this business successfully. Because man, let me tell you, the amount of conversations that we've had where, they don't, if I'm like, hey, you're in a different city, have you connected with other groomers? Have you talked to, groomers in your neighborhood or anything like that? And they're just like, no, they don't want to talk and they don't want to network and they don't want to, go grab lunch, or they don't want to do this, or I have to pay so much money for them to even have a conversation with me. I'm like, how do we get out of that?
I think, like I said, it's just that competitive mindset. Like there's
Mhm.
so many people out here. And you're only but one company or, or one person. Like, how do you think that
Yes.
somehow you just hoarding all of the information that you've learned that somehow it's just going to hurt your business? No, I mean, I get
Mhm.
it. I'm pretty sure, and probably, and I would probably believe, like I said, this is just me just trying to figure out the why. I'm pretty sure someone probably had felt betrayed or, been taken advantage of by trying to offer a hand or be able to help somebody.
Mhm.
Um, but I will have to say of that one person like maybe causing that heartache or making that person feel like they have to shut down and now have to keep a wall up or feel like, I've learned all this, now you should pay me for that. But
Mhm.
for me, I just love the fact of being able, I love talking to people about animals, about dogs, about veterinary medicine. So like if you come to me and it's a good, I have a moment to talk about it, by all means, pick my brain. I have
Yeah,
nothing because and honestly, I don't want it to be like in a cocky way, but even if I gave you all the information that I have, everything that I know, you still won't be able to do it like me because I'm Tiara. I'm the only Tiara. And the way that you would take that
absolutely.
information and do it is going to be authentically how you would do it. So we're
Yeah.
going to be, we're still at the end of the day, still going to be two separate people. So that's kind of how I look at it, where I would never gatekeep any
Mhm.
information that I've learned with some of the VAs that are in the tech programs. Like I tell them, come, you have questions, talk to me. I will not gatekeep. I will tell you everything I've learned, the mistakes that I've made. And
Mhm.
you could take the information with you, what you want with it. I tell them if you're going to be in the field for 2 years, you need to go ahead and get your license. There's no reason as a VA as you're gaining skills that you are going to remain in this field and not be a technician. You might as well just go ahead and get those license because that license is going to take you everywhere. Um,
Absolutely.
so yeah, for me, I'm confident within myself that
Mhm.
if anyone was to take a client from me, then they were never meant for me.
Mhm.
And if anything was to happen, I will just start over again. So,
And I'll just keep ain't no going back to a job at this point. At this point, look, we jumped in the pool. We're in the pool, okay, and the water is nice and warm, and it feels great. Even though you get a little water in your face sometimes, look, we still
little
making it
water in
work.
the ears, little ear
Yeah, a
infection
little water.
from time.
No, for sure. Now, two more things, right? I think as a vet tech, both of us having, being licensed and well, also graduating from Fort Valley, I think that that's also another plus too, is like getting or just being able to, and Lanice as well, because she has her license as a tech, but just like being able to cater to vet techs and, one, showing them that there's other opportunities out here, to make it, to make money, to, grow yourself professionally and personally. Because, we tend to feel like we don't have many options, so kudos to, stepping out of that and just saying, look, I've been able to Laranja and Omeri as well. I'm thinking of all the vet techs now that we have in Petlanta too. Which is great. And I love it because we still love what we do and we're working in the field, but we're expanding off of that, so I definitely want to, really extend that invitation to other vet techs that, may watch this or listen to it and just say, hey, you have options out here, coming from two vet techs who have said, look, enough is enough. I still love what I do and I love working with animals, but I want to take things into my own hands a little bit and see what I can grow and see what we could do, right? So from grooming to running a nonprofit to doing research to, transportation, pet sitting, dog walking, what you name it. There's so many different opportunities out here for growth, and I just never because I remember all right, after having all of my experience working at UGA, working at Blue Pearl, working at different general practices, having my license, all of that, and still having to struggle. I'm like, yeah, no, it has to, we got to change this. We got to change this. And that's what really led me to say, look, entrepreneurship is where I'm going to have to start making some extra money somewhere, but I want to work with pets or I want to work with animals. So we definitely have to make that happen. So, last but not least, uh, any closing words of wisdom for those that may be thinking about training, maybe thinking about getting into the pet industry, already in the pet industry, and yeah, just see what's on your heart to share.
Um, I guess so. For me, just have a great sense of who you are because being an entrepreneur, um, it can change you if you're not confident in who you are. And you could end up being molded into something that you're not. You can end up following down paths that are just not meant for you and can make you not want to be an entrepreneur anymore because you're not working in alignment with who you are. So have a good sense of who you are. So take some time and figure out who you are first before you really start getting into doing this business. And even just know that during the process of being an entrepreneur, you're going to find out more about yourself and what you're capable of doing, or realizing like, hey, I'm stronger than I actually thought. I didn't think I could do this. I didn't think I could go to my boss and be like, you know what? This is not for me. I'll come back on if you need me because I still love the medicine side, but this is what I have. These are the only times I have to offer because my full time is now my business. Um, and that was hard. That was really hard. So, um, yeah, just take the time and know who you are before you jump into this.
Mm,
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
yeah,
Don't be afraid. There's so much information. There are people right here, right, these two right here,
absolutely. I got you.
that are able to that will want to talk to you and figure out what you're looking for, what you're trying to do, and be able to point you in the right direction, or at least be able to give our personal experience and our opinion. And yeah, and there are people out there that want to help you. So don't be afraid to ask.
1000%. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of opening your mouth and just saying, this is what I want, and connecting with the right people.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Where can these great people find you?
So they can find me on Instagram at Lavender Leashes. Also website lavenderleashes.com. Oh, and I guess also
What
my
is it?
other I'm millennial, so oh, that don't make no sense to me.
Oh,
But you can
I'm
also
like
check
this, and I'm
me
like, no, is it?
you can also check me out with
Mhm.
TeeWithTheLeash. So T dot with the leash as well on Instagram.
He would absolutely no. I love it. No, thank you, Tiara, for your time. Thank you for your words of wisdom and just sharing. We tend to be all about our work and just work, work, work. So we don't really talk, a lot. Like I can teach you about dog training. I can teach you about pet sitting. I can teach you about grooming. I can teach you about this, but when it gets down to the nitty gritty and just like getting people to understand like how our minds work and what else we can bring to the table, how we can inspire, how we can, lead you in the right direction. And if I don't know the answer, we're going to find it out together. We're going to do this. Hey, this journey is not meant to be done alone. And we can figure things out. So I truly appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing. And I look forward to being a witness for all of your success.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Wayne. This was fun.
No problem. Absolutely. So, y'all, this is another edition of the Pet Pro Power Hour where we just share each other's successes, our stories, what got us into entrepreneurship, things that we can learn and inspire and teach others as we grow. So, till next time, keep being great, doing great things, and let's continue making better pet businesses together.